Ronald, we're just getting started. We're giving an overview of what cloud token is, how it is different than everything else that's out there, or anything they may have gotten in trouble with before or scared of before. They want to know the difference and how they can earn right now. So you can definitely go out there and tell us, your rendition of why it's great.
Okay, so for those that is new with cloud token or CT, as you want to call it, it's simple. Okay, we are not an ICO. There's no way you can actually buy the tokens. There's no token allocation, which means that the people that is actually started or have actually designed the system itself, we didn't get any CTOs in advance. So like you, we have to actually build our own tree to actually get the tokens. We have to actually invest our own money in Jarvis at the moment to actually get the same number of CTOs that you're getting. Like you as well, we need to build our own affiliates to actually gain the community payout and also the group payout as well. So it is a fair game, even for the people that is actually doing the actual project. So because since we are also the same level as you guys are, okay, of course we will think about how to make this system to be as transparent as possible, so that everybody can be assured that what we are doing and where we are. Okay, so that's why I've been really forward with what our plans are and what we're doing. So basically, the idea of CT is very simple. We want to become a global wallet that is able to be used anywhere around the world with any merchant. So we want to become the biggest payment network on the mobile around the world. And to do so, actually, there are a lot of things that we need to do. And one of it is actually to get a lot of users, right? Or a lot of partners, a lot of members, which is you guys. And we thought about it, how to achieve this. And one of the easiest way is to actually get back from the system itself. But there are many, many ways actually to do this, especially with crypto itself. Actually having your crypto grow is not uncommon thing. Okay, there are many ways that's able to do it now. Well, if you were to hold your crypto assets in the wallet itself, okay, well, it will grow, but it depends on the market itself, which is really passive way of getting any income that way. So what we try to do then is to actually take a pool of this assets to actually help do the trading. And in order to do that itself, we have actually written a AI robot, which is also nothing very new in the market, because AI bots in the crypto trading world and in the forex world and in the share trading world or stock trading world, it's also very common. Okay, so we actually written our own bot with our own strategy, okay, which is called Varoom, to actually do the trading. Varoom's trading strategy is very different than the other robots because of one simple thing. Most of the robots, they actually take in the value of the crypto. They will always try to buy things which are low and sell when it's high. It is always a good strategy if you have a low AUM or asset under management. Okay, if you're trying to sell like 0.1 Bitcoin or 1 Bitcoin or anything under 20 or 30, it will really not make a dent into the market itself. And most of the strategies that involve large AUMs, things that is like 1,000 bitcoins or so. Normally, the strategy for these guys are to do it in multiple high frequent trades. But the problem with those is that the fee of each trade itself is going to be high, significantly higher. Even though it's 0. Let's say if you are level, let's say 8 in Binance, if it's 0.015 something percent, right? Is still going to be expensive if you were to accumulate or accrue or compound all of these fees together. So the strategy that we are doing is a bit different. So we would buy in large volume to push the market up, and in order to liquidate or to sell, we would normally either we do what we call a crypto pairing arbitrage. So on the same network itself, okay, we were to see or calculate through the different pairs how much of quantity of the other coins that we're going to get in extra. So remember, the trading strategy that we're having is based on quantity, not on the value. Okay, so to us itself, a Bitcoin which is $250 versus a 180 bucks Ethereum is still one Ethereum to us. When you put in one Ethereum to us, we have to give you back one Ethereum regardless the price that it is, right? So our strategy is to grow that Ethereum itself, okay, day by day. So the strategy that Jarvis has is to actually grow the number of quantity regardless of the price. So that's one thing. And in order to actually prove that particular point, because it's quite a different way of thinking and a different way of doing things, we have to show the members, okay, how this is done. So that's why I actually open up the Binance account from time to time to actually show how much we are trading. So Binance has this level thing whereby you have to trade a certain number of Bitcoins in about 30 days. So to get into level 7, you need to have at least traded over 100 plus thousand, okay, Bitcoins in 30 days. And we have actually traded over 120,000 Bitcoins in the last 30 days. So that's a huge amount. So how can you actually trade that much? So you're talking about 4,000 Bitcoins to 5,000 Bitcoins a day in average to actually get that particular level. And if you were to look at the market on the last 2 weeks, right, you will note that you will notice that it actually went from a high point of 13K, it dropped down to a low point, maybe 8,008, and then it went back up again now to about now it's about 11,000 something, right? So when you look at the market itself, there are 4 ways of categorizing the market. Okay, the direction whether it's pointing up, the direction whether it's pointing down. But normally people will always look at which direction it is. It's either going up or going down, right? But we don't look at the direction itself because in any direction we have to trade, all right? That's the only bad thing about doing it with the quantity. We are looking at whether it's a sideways market or whether it's a volatile market. So volatility is our friend, regardless of whether it's up or down. Okay. Now, if it's sideways, which means that it's very stable, this is just a line up like this or a line up like this, right? It's going to be very difficult to trade because the volatility is very low, and the margin between each volatility is so low that we are unable to do a lot of trades. Okay, which means that we have to hodl a lot, and the amount that is traded is actually quite fixed, and we cannot hit 4,000 a day, then our level will drop. Okay, so but if you look at the last 2 weeks, right, the market, regardless of the direction that it is in, okay, is quite volatile. You're looking at a plus 2,000 to minus 2,000 in a couple of hours, minutes, and in one day itself, you can have maybe 20 times the swing from a plus 500 to a minus 500 or 1,000 or 2,000, right? Which is very good for us. Because on this type of swings itself, the robot is able to do a trade. And as I showed yesterday in one of my posts, in just the last couple of hours of trading yesterday, we have made about 5% of our AUM. Our AUM is about 150 million in size, and 5% on that day itself is really, really a good, a huge feat. So that is on the bot itself. And of course, to able to show you guys how things work, we have to show the Binance account, which I've done as well. And one thing about how our price is settled or set is like this. We have actually two different wallets. The first wallet is the trading wallet itself. So the trading wallet is the wallet whereby Valor, which is our, I can say our the brain behind the trading. Okay, you actually allocate assets. Okay, based on its calculation or based on the signals that is generated from all the exchanges and the pairings, and it will actually spawn Jarvis, the trading robot, to actually trade on based on these pairs and signals. So this wallet itself is called a trading wallet. This is where most of the assets that is being added into the system sits. Okay, and when all this trading is going on, each of the robot that is spawned or Jarvises that is spawned has a target to achieve. So we call it a performance target, and once the Jarvis hits this performance target, it will actually shut down. And when it shut down, the amount of profit that it earns will be transferred into this pool. We call it the reserve pool. The maximum for a month is 6 to 12%. Okay, so if we were to make 50% in that particular month itself, all the additional revenue, okay, is actually kept back in the trading pool. All right, as a backup or reserve in case that the reserve wallet itself will. Because a lot of people will do a withdrawal or conversion, and it's all from the reserve pool. Now, the reserve pool is the wallet which is the most important here. Okay, because the number of assets that we have in there is what is backing the CTOs. The CTOs, we have two numbers. The first number is the total supply, which we don't need to look at it. We only look at the total circulation, what is in the market itself. And based on the total circulation that is available, okay, it needs to be supported by the number of assets that is accrued or compounded in the particular reserve wallet itself. That's how the price correlates to each other. So like a stable coin itself, which is backed by only local currency or foreign currencies, Okay, we are backed fully by the cryptos that we actually trade in. Okay, which is the 6 major cryptos. That's how the price of the CTO is set. Okay, and because we are trying to become how to say accredited as a financial institution, okay, in Australia, there are a lot of requirements that we need to follow, and one of the requirements is to actually get an FSL license. And to get the FSL license or financial service license from ASIC Australia, one of the things that we need to do is to get a certification for ISO 27001, which is more about security and business continuity and things like that. So let's talk about business continuity. So business continuity is very simple. If in case the servers blows up, let's say in Amazon, okay, how is the business going to continue to run? Okay, that's why we are working closely with 3 partners. The first is AWS, which most of our bulk of our servers are, and we are also working with Microsoft Azure, which is the new cloud provider that we're using. Okay, and another backup ones which we have in Malaysia. All right, so these are the 3 providers that we're using. Okay, on the firewall CDN portion of it, we're using a ISO 2701 certified WAF, web application firewall, which is called Cloudflare, being used by almost any big guys under the sun now. There's only not so much of choices around for big guys. Either we use Akamai, the firewall, or we can use Cloudflare. So we're actually using Cloudflare now. So 27001 has many requirements as well. So at least we actually got those done. And one of the other things that we need to do is on our security of the internal staffs, how we handle our passwords, how we handle our data, and things like that. So these are the things that we need to conform to. And in the FSL as well, we need to actually work on we need to get certified for PCI DSSS, which is the way we handle personal data. But luckily, it's because we're not using our own servers. We're using servers which is from Amazon and this Microsoft. So they are already PCI DSSS certified. So we are working through that. So on the progress of getting the ISO certification, we have already started the audit, and we have one guy that is very knowledgeable with all these audits that is working on it. Hopefully we get it very soon. So the first step is to get the 27001 ready, and then we actually conform for the FSL. And once we have the FSL, we can become an ADI. ADI stands for Accredited Deposit Institution, which means that I can start receiving fiat or local currency or foreign currency to actually do traditional investment. Okay, so even though if you are a ADI in Australia, it doesn't mean that we can actually do crypto to fiat swap or they become a liquidity provider. So what we are doing is we are actually getting a certification from CESA, which is in Philippines, to have our own OTC and our own exchange. We're also working on that now. This week itself, our lawyers are actually next week. Our lawyers are flying from Melbourne to Kuala Lumpur to have a sit down to see where we are, and also on the things that we need to do in order to have this license in our asset. Okay, so once we get this license, what can we do? Okay, very simple. We can actually have a legit merchant program which can help merchants liquidate their cryptos instantly. So merchants itself are not exposed to the volatility of the crypto market. Let's say if I am an owner of a coffee shop and I were to use a crypto POS from, let's say, Sitio, okay? Let's say you would accept CTOs or Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever. If you were to hold the Bitcoin or the crypto asset in your inventory, you are exposed to the volatility of the market, which is not very profitable, or it's quite dangerous for a particular merchant. So especially when the merchant itself does not have so much of liquidity in their own ecosystem. So basically, what we are doing is, okay, because if you are a merchant itself, you're paying in fiat to your suppliers and you're collecting crypto, you would run out of liquidity very, very soon. Our POS system does that conversion for you. Okay, basically, if I am the merchant, I can set that 90% of the cryptos accepted will be turned into local currency or into a fiat currency, whereby 5% of the income that is collected will sit back in a wallet itself, which I can deal with later. So when someone goes to your coffee shop and pays with crypto, okay, it gets sent to our OTC to liquidate into US dollars or whatever, and it's sent to your bank account, the merchant's bank account within 1 to 3 days, depending on the working hours, and depends on the bank actually, but it's still within 1 to 3 days, which is quite it's not as fast as peer-to-peer OTCs, but it's one way to actually to get in a legit way of doing things. Okay, the reason why is we are actually paying tax for you through CESA, which you can actually, for US probably not so much of a issue, but for Southeast Asian countries, there are these double taxation laws, which you can actually deduct tax from your sales tax. So we are actually working with this in Southeast Asia first, before we figure out how we can actually make it viable for the US to actually do this. So our merchant program itself works this way. It does the liquidity as well, unlike some of the other projects where they are merchant POS itself keeps the crypto and the merchant itself needs to liquidate themselves. So that's one thing that is rolling out. And because there is a transaction involved and there's OTC involved here, all the profits actually goes into the reserve pool directly. Now, as I said in the earlier point, the reserve pool itself will affect one thing, which is the price of the CTOs. So if I'm not giving out CTOs, but the asset itself increases because of the profits made from OTC and the rest of the other things that we'll push out, okay, means that the price itself will go up. So that's what we are doing. And of course, we are also having a lot of other projects that is going to affect the ecosystem directly, which is to push out our MasterCard by actually mid of this month. Yes. We're going to send about 200 cards to the C-Force, and they're going to test it out. So basically, we test with the C-Force to gather any kind of feedback that they might have, okay, and we will fix this, and by October, whereby when we have this KL celebration event, before that, anyone can actually apply for a card, okay, I mean, C2s and above can apply for the card, and you will get the card during that event itself. So the prepaid card itself works this way, unlike 10X or MCO cards, whereby you have to sell the cryptos directly in order to get into fiat to fund the particular card. In our case, all the cards are pre-funded, which means that they already have the fiat in these cards. They are just only not enabled for the holder. So the holder itself needs to take CTO itself, okay, and use it as a collateral, okay. So you take your CTOs, you lock it in as a collateral, and when you use the fiat, we will draw down from the CTO itself. Okay, so you don't actually sell to me, you actually hold it into collateral, and if you were to pay back in the fiat, which we also have another interface to do that, then the CTOs don't get how to say converted or get returned to the system. Okay, the whole actual entire flow itself will release together with the documentation or the leaflet or the leaflet that comes with the card itself. Okay, the way we're doing it is a bit different now. It's not a buying and selling process, which is very taboo to either Visa or Master or JCB or UnionPay. Okay. So we have the card system, and then we are also pushing out our cloud SIM. So the cloud SIM itself is a regular SIM card that is, we have actually strike a agreement with about 8 carriers in 8 different countries to provide a automatic roaming provisioning. So that, let's say, for example, if you were to put this SIM card into your phone and let's say you were in the Philippines, you will be able to use the package. And if you were to travel to, let's say, Thailand, okay, in a normal case, your local SIM card, you will actually enable the roaming. But our cards itself, we will still use back your package. Each person is given a choice, 3 type packages, 1 gig, 2 gigs and 3 gigs, okay, for 1 week. I think that's quite sufficient for high bandwidth users, right? So let's say if you opt for a 3 gig package and you travel to, let's say, 2 or 3 different countries, that's it. You don't need to pay for any roaming. You just draw down from the data that you have. So that's our cloud SIM. And the earnings that we have from the cloud SIM itself directly goes into the reserve pool, which will affect the price of the CTOs as well. So the cloud SIMs are free, given free at the event, only at the event, okay? We have no plans to actually sell it yet because we want to test out with the 10,000 cards that we have to see if there's any issues or in which country it's not working, and also to get data on which countries most of our members are taking it to, so that we can actually talk to or negotiate a good data package for that particular country and with that particular carrier. Our goal is to cover all 148 countries that our members are in. But some countries are really, really expensive, like Cambodia, Japan, some parts of the Africa, and some parts of Europe. Some carriers, they are really expensive. So we're trying to work out a blanket deal with all these carriers to actually let our members take this card anywhere in the world to be able to access this. To access our wallet. Okay, and so one of the reasons that we actually push out the cloud SIM is that because in China itself, most of the things are blocked by the firewall, and by using the SIM itself, they don't need to use VPN. It's directly bypassing a VPN and to our servers. So there's one thing good for the Chinese. For other countries like India itself, it's going to be really, really cool. But one thing you can't compare is the price. Those local SIM cards, their price are always cheaper, right? But our cloud SIM itself is not really that expensive as well. We are also very competitive in pricing. So we'll reveal more of the pricing and the category and all of the packages really soon. Okay. Of course, when you get it, when you get the SIMs during the event, the information will all be there, and I'll actually share more of this in the coming weeks. So these are some of the big ticket items that we're pushing out, but we are also pushing out several new projects because as I said in many of my interviews, Jarvis itself has a limit of how much you can trade. So we are introducing a block program by the end of the year, whereby we're going to put a limit on how much participation into Jarvis that's going to happen. A lot of members or partners, are worried that, hey, how can I grow my network if there's a limit onto Jarvis itself? Okay, but don't worry, because more projects are coming out. We figure out that in Jarvis itself, there are 3 classes of users. Okay, the first class of users are the users whereby they pool a lot of resources together. For example, just to qualify for Jarvis, it's 500 USDT, and a lot of the developing countries like India, a lot of them can't afford 500, so they take like 2 or 3 person to form an account to actually fund the account itself. And that itself is a bit troublesome because we don't actually tell them how much they split and how much you can get back and things like that. And so what we did was we classified all this as a low income group or low investment group or low participation group. The middle ones are the ones that puts in 500 to 5,000, 10,000, and the rest of it as the higher grades. So I said before that we are moving the whales out using the Friday project so that we don't burn too much CTOs. Now we're actually covering the bottom portion by introducing a new passive way of earning CTOs. So it will be open up to, it's very low participation. I mean, you just need anything less than about 100 USDTs or maybe 50 or less USDT in order to participate for the new project that we might be pushing out before October. Okay, so more things are coming out on the project side. A passive project and another active project, which is to have another alternative for Jarvis itself, something like Jarvis, but it's alternative that can give you a very steady income, okay, or revenue. So a lot of these things are coming up. I shared yesterday in my Facebook on one of these projects, whereby more details will come out soon. Can't share it with you now, as we ourselves are figuring out how to properly introduce this without affecting the rest of the other projects, and how the affiliate program is going to be affected if we were to introduce the passive program to be out. So we are all working on all of this. The office is the office in KL, or the experience center in KL, is coming along well. We did our 5th revision of the interior design. Of course, when we first started, it's the first huge office that we actually own. We own the office itself. It's not rented. We actually bought the place, and it's, you know, with like your first home, right? You try to make it as grand as possible, as big as possible. So one of the ideas was to not use any walls, but we cover every wall with a wall mounted we call it the video wall. So but this has proven to be quite costly for us. So we only covered part of it with the video wall, which is on the trading floor. So the trading floor itself will have a slight angled LED wall, okay, whereby we're going to shoot 24 hours through IP cam, through either YouTube or whatever. So all the partners are able to see live trading on our trading floors through all the 32 different exchanges, all the 200 different bots, and all the 4 accounts that we have. It's all going to be listed down there. 24/7, you can just pull it up. We're trying to make the IP camera as clear as possible so everybody can see what is going on from there. Okay. We have seriously not thought this through, but this is what we plan to do, to actually show the live trading. Okay. And the office itself is progressing well now. We released some of the photos of the progress itself. As I said, the 5th revision approved the changes, and hopefully everything will be ready by September, the first week of September. So if it completes by the first week of September, we can move in probably in the mid of September. The event itself is in October, so it will be a celebration event. So it's a huge space, 4.5K square feet. So it can host about 50, 60 people. That is inclusive of our developers, our traders, the media people, and of course, the brains behind the system itself. It's all going to be there. Any members, which is C4, C3 and C4 above, can actually make a booking to come and visit the office anytime. Yeah, it's a 24 hours office, so anytime when somebody's there. Okay. So that's the office. That's the event. Basically, I think I've covered most of it. Anything else that you guys want to know?
Yeah, hi, Ron, it's Cian.
Hi, Cian.
How are you? Long time.
Great.
See you again
yeah.
in a couple months. You mentioned something last month, I'm not sure if it was you or one of your guys, about being able to use the cloud token for travel to Malaysia. Is that still in the works?
So basically, we have been hard at work to actually get the OTAs to be ready, but the OTAs are calling us mad because we are trying to link this up in such a short amount of time. But we are actually doing it and we're pushing it forward. So the first thing that we're doing is to handle for our own event first. Matt has been really hardworking. He has basically talked to all the 4 stars, 5 stars, and 3 stars hotel around town. All right. And we have got such a great package ready for anyone who actually wants to come to the KL event, celebration event, which we will package it with accommodation. So that's the first short introduction, or the first experience that we're going to push out through the OTA program itself. For the booking of plane tickets and things like that, for that OTA integration itself, hopefully we can get it ready by September, so that you guys can actually start to book the plane tickets as well. For the hotels itself, we are packaging it together with the tickets. So there will be one event, many packages, and many tiers of the hotels that you can choose from, which is going to be cheaper than anything that even a level 2 booking.com member will get. It will be lower than that. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
That's very, very exciting, man. And Ronald, man, you really had a mouthful. You said a whole lot. You've definitely gone through more than what I expected, which I should have known, from a guy like yourself. So where can we find more information about this actual event in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia? Is it on the app, or is there a website we can go to start preparing for this actual event?
We are finishing up the ticketing event module. we already finished the back end, but there are more things to change because we're getting more requirements from the hotels to know more about the guests. So that, for example, are you coming in as a single or are you a double bed? Do you need additional assistance? For example, do you need a translator? Do you need this and do you need that? So a lot of these are set into consideration, and we are trying to build this into the ticketing app itself, so that you can actually choose. We are trying to keep things as simple as possible to make it not so tedious. So it's like 3 clicks and type in your name and boom, you can get a ticket. So basically, we're trying to do something like that. Yeah. So by this end of this week or soon, we know that sometimes you guys need more time, right? Like a month and a half or 2 months to actually prepare yourself to come for the event. So we are trying to get this up as soon as possible. So worst come to worst, what I told Matt was, okay, we're going to use Google Docs for this, and everybody just put in their name and your account number, and we'll just deduct CDOs from you.
Right.
The worst comes to worst.
I wanted to also ask you, while I guess we have everybody here who is watching. A lot of some of the biggest questions I get is about our cloud wallet. When will we be able to have our own private key? People are just concerned about, they want to make sure that it's going to be here forever, or they're able to have access to their funds if anything should ever happen, just for transparency reasons. I mean, I get it. But for those coming on brand new who've had bad experiences in the past, definitely want to know what's in place to make sure that they're safe in the future, or if that's possible.
Ethereum private keys are already given to the members. So, and as I said earlier on, we are using this time to actually gauge what are the feedbacks we have. As we, predicted, for the first 2 weeks, everybody was applauding for it. Yay, we got our private key now for Ethereum. And come the last 2 weeks, I've lost my key.
Yeah.
We have got so many users coming back with us that they lost their key. And then what we told them is, sorry, we can't help you. And they have been crying and shouting and cursing. But we told them that, if you lose your keys, there's not much we can do, because only you yourself have the key. So this got us thinking back at our drawing board. How can we make it sure that once I give you a key, you can remember it? I mean, for the developed countries, right? I think all of you guys, it's easy. You know what to do. You know how to actually keep it safe. But for the multiple members on one account issue, and if you were to give a key, who holds that key? And if one guy takes the key and run away with all the assets, then it becomes a city problem, not their own problem. So these are the things that we are facing. And that's why we have actually held back on releasing some of the other keys for the other wallets until we actually figure out how we can actually settle this issue. We can always take the high road, say that, no, fuck it, I'll just give you all of the keys. Okay, but trying to become a global wallet which anyone can use, we can't really do that, you see. So that's the dilemma that we are facing now, and we are trying to work out with our team to actually see what we can do here.
All right, I mean, I definitely understand that. It's hard to please everyone at one time. I definitely get it. And Ronald, I know you just got up. What I'll do is, before I let you go, I'll just ask anybody here if they have any more questions they want to ask the creator of this token, any questions before he goes back to sleep, because it's 9 a.m. or it's 10 o'clock a.m. in Kuala Lumpur. So here we have a main man, Huey Rose from the UK.
Yeah, how you doing, Rodney? Yeah, it's great listening to you. I just want to know what is in place for people that is on the other side of the globe, like in Europe? Is there anybody in Europe right now that's actually in tune with what they're doing? And is there any compliance issues for people that are joining, coming out of Europe? Because we're always getting the US dollar amount and the US how much it is to join, but has those regulations been checked out to see whether or not we're actually allowed to join on board? Because we've got regulations here on anything that we do. There's a different type of guidelines you've got to go through when it comes to certain opportunities that are not coming out of the UK.
Huey, right?
Huey.
Yeah, Huey. Okay, hi.
Hi.
Yeah, so basically, number one, we're not dealing with any local or foreign currency, not USD or not pound. We're dealing with USDT, which is a form of stable coin, which is also considered as a crypto. So it's purely crypto to crypto. Yeah, it's just a crypto exchange, crypto exchange without fiat intervention. So we're safe on that accord. But for more details on how to make it more legit for all of the other countries, by next week itself, when our lawyers from Melbourne come, we will be talking to them on how to make it more legit for the other places. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. And actually, we have got a stack of things that we need to do in order to conform at the pre-round. And some of this was to actually remove certain words. For example, we always call ourselves cloud token wallet, right? And part of it is to remove the word wallet and token. So that's why we have to rebrand ourselves from CT into something else called Cloud 2.0. I think the Asian side has been promoting this Cloud 2.0. So that's what one of the things that we need to do. A lot more changes are coming, so don't be don't freak out that where's City gone? It's still the same thing, but we just actually changed the logo, a bit upgrade to the logo, and also the name itself. We're dropping the word token and wallet itself for more to be less ambiguous. Okay. Then there are also other things that the lawyers has actually advised us to do. Instead of using the word deposit or whatever, we just use join and that. So there are a lot of things on the app itself which we need to rephrase and reword it. And also on the contract, side of it, we need to come up with a end user license agreement plus a investment contract from Essex, which is a standard piece of document contract which users have to approve. So these are the things that we are adding in place in the coming weeks before the actual event itself. Mm-hmm.
And where's the event going to be?
It's going to be in Kuala Lumpur in October.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
First
you.
week of October. Mm-hmm.
Thanks a lot. You appreciate that.
Nice one.
So is there anyone else here that like Huey or anyone else has any questions they want to ask the creator, or anyone else here about Cloud 2.0? So feel free to unmute yourself right quick and ask a question. Do not hold back now. Now you have a chance to actually ask the creator what's going on, what's on your mind, and which you may be concerned about. So before he leaves, so I'm really excited. He woke up this morning to even get on my actual Zoom. So I really appreciate that. So guys, get your questions out now before he falls back to sleep.
When do you plan to come to Europe?
I'm going to Warsaw end of the month, to Poland. So there's a plan to actually hit London, but I think that has been postponed. We will see if we can actually come to London. If any of you guys were to arrange for the event, you can contact us so that we can actually make the plans for it.
Okay, I'll be in contact with Rodney and yourself in regards to that.
Nice.
All right, cool. Anyone else? Hey, Ronald, how about you coming to the United States, like maybe Washington, D.C., where I'm at?
We have plans to be in Canada around mid of October. November, sorry. It's it's November. I don't know, November, October, can't remember. Luigi is actually doing that event. Yeah.
In Canada, okay. Canada's not, I don't think Canada's a part of the U.S. yet, but somewhere it's definitely close.
Hey.
Yeah. Yeah, they're saying that, somewhere in between whereby, maybe from Seattle, you can just drive all the way up.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I wouldn't have a problem, coming to Canada. I think Cian is in Canada, so I'll go up there and see Cian and a few of my other friends, Big Dano. And
More than welcome, guys.
You know what I mean? So, hey, Ronald, I'm gonna let you go, man, because you've been on here for an hour, going through great in-depth detail, and information that I never even thought was even possible. I'm not that smart yet, but I'm getting there. I guess what we'll do is we'll catch you on the next webinar or Zoom when we have time. You're always welcome. And we'll make sure that you're wide awake the next time we invite you in your sleep. But I really want to appreciate you stopping by and blessing us with your presence and giving us all the new information and the crazy new things that are coming forward with Clout 2.0.
Yep. Okay. Just check out the app from time to time. There'll be more new upgrades. There's another new wallet coming up. Another new crypto coming up, which will be really, really fun. All right. So yeah, until next time. Okay. Bye, guys.
Thanks, Ronald.
Bye, Ron. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, guys. We're still here. We're not going anywhere. Cian, you still have work to do. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop the video right quick. I'm gonna stop the recording right quick. Hold on a second. Stop. I stopped the recording.